So, good evening, everyone. Today is the fourth day of the uh, annual conference of STARS Forum. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you. Today we have two guests who are going to talk about two extremely important topics, something that a lot of us have been discussing in STARS Forum, as well as in many other uh, forums as well. And I'm happy that Dr. Pragati Gokhale and Dr. O.P. Goel have consented to share their views and experiences with all of us. So I'm very happy and welcome you both on behalf of STARS Forum to the annual conference today. I think most of the people that I can see in the attendees are probably quite familiar with what STARS Forum is, but just in case there is somebody, I'll just spend a minute just introducing STARS and then we'll move on. STARS Forum, as the name suggests, is a forum. It's a place for bringing great ideas, great people, great work together and creating a platform where there can be an opportunity for collaboration, knowledge exchange, experience exchange, and so on and so forth. The, the word STARS is actually an acronym of skills training for advancement in rural societies. What we believe is rural societies in India particularly and also world over in many places, there is a very strong need for a productive workforce. Just as skills are so important in the formal sector, in the organized sector of the economy, those skills are equally important in the informal sector, in the rural sector, in the agri sector, and so on and so forth. Especially in India, there is a lot of opportunity while there is a lot of problems as well. And if we, on the one hand, we have to continue to solve those problems, but on the other hand, we have to also leverage opportunities that are coming our way. And I think that is one of the important things to for us to focus on. Um, so if I may say, in that sense, what STARS has been doing is to bring about a platform where good ideas can be transferred. Good people connecting with other good people allows them to collaborate and and take the missions forward and so on. And I'm hoping that we will continue to see good results from that. um, Today we have two speakers talk about two very interesting things. Let me start off by with the first speaker of today, Dr. Pragati Gokhale. Uh, she's going to talk about zero budget rural marketing, and what that is really is going to be very interesting. Is that in the last few years, what we are seeing is six or seven important dimensions of progress that this country is making. And I think Pragati ji's initiative is going to connect some of those dots. The things that I can see those dots are: one is better road connectivity, which means more people are able to travel, goods can travel, and so on and so forth, which means couriers are now going everywhere and much more places. Number two, personal mobility is becoming cheaper. Most people today have a two-wheeler, if nothing else, or at least have access to a two-wheeler. Third is power availability. Electricity availability is getting better and better all over. Fourth is that internet connections are available across, literally across the country today. Fifth is most people today have a mobile device. If we put all of this together, a set of opportunities which were not there or not fully developed a few years back are now becoming possible. And what Pragati Gokhale ji is going to talk about is one such interesting and important initiative. Let me spend a minute introducing Pragati Gokhale to all of you. She is the chief mentor of a mission that she has called Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing. It works through a website called marketmirchi.com. Pragati ji is an advisor at the Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, which is a Maharashtra government institution, a project that is based in Mumbai. And she's also an advisor at the Department of Science and Technology SEED program, Science for Equity, Empowerment, Development program. It's also known as SEED. She is also the national resource person with the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. And she retired as a principal scientist from the Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Pragati ji started this unique project called the Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing, and it's a very disruptive program approach, bottom-up sort of an approach for rural marketing in India. And we will talk. I'm sure when we hear Pragati ji talk about it, there'll be a lot of interest as well as a lot of questions to see how we can adopt all that. So with that, I would request Pragati ji if you can talk to us about this initiative. Also tell us how all the various organizations who are here today and those who are not here today but will definitely watch the recording later, how we can benefit from, how can we take this mission forward along with whatever work you're doing. Please start your talk if you would like to.
Okay. Thank you, Chaitanya. And good morning, good evening, namaskar, as the case may be, to all the listeners. Today I will rather than sharing a usual PPT based way, I will start with a story. एंड यहाँ पे मुझे बहुत से मेरे फार्मर्स भी ज्वाइन हुए दिख रहा है, सो मोस्टली आई विल स्पीक इन हिंदी, बट फॉर अदर्स कन्वीनियंस आई विल हैव अ हिंदी इंग्लिश अप्रोच. सो द स्टोरी स्टार्ट्स, कहानी की शुरुआत होती है आज से 10 साल पहले, 10 या 12 साल पहले. व्हेन दैट टाइम आई वाज अ IT प्रोफेशनल working with another government department, Forest Development Corporation, and having my good hand in software development, website development, etc. I came across one advertisement that was from Government of India, Ministry of MSME, and they have started one brand new institute at Wardha that was named as Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Rural Industrialization, and that was under Ministry of MSME. वो एक IIT दिल्ली और KVIC ने इनिशिएटिव स्टार्ट किया था फॉर गिविंग साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इनपुट फॉर रूरल इंडस्ट्रीज. So, and because the posts were high profile, the age limit was also 50. And just see how destiny plays. I gave that interview exactly on my 50th birthday. So, कल ही मेरा birthday हुआ. That was 8 December. So I was selected because and many scientists joined along with me. Different domains, and I was really thinking, so how my IT knowledge I will leverage here and how I will do all this upliftment of rural industries and all. But the credit goes to our director that time, and after our joining he took us for a orientation program. अभी हमें लगा कहीं अच्छी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की जॉब है, कहीं अच्छी जगह ले जाएंगे, बट ही इट वाज rural stakeholders, and we had a lot of ground interaction. और ये सारा जो इंटरेक्शन हुआ इसमें एक करंट मुझे लग गया, एंड इट मेड द इंटरेक्शन हेल्प मी to understand where my role will be in all this rural development. Who I say, we were standing in between the self-help groups and farmers, and this suddenly one of them asked me, madam, that you are doing everything for our entrepreneurship. आप लोग हमें ट्रेनिंग देते हो, हमारा स्किल डेवलपमेंट करते हो, गवर्नमेंट के तरफ से हमें कोई फंडिंग भी मिल जाता है, बट विद ऑल दिस व्हेन वी स्टार्ट आवर मेकिंग समथिंग वेयर देयर इज अ मार्केट, why not you do one thing, why not you give us shops in all big cities? The question was very right, and then I studied with government for market linkages for all these rural and agro products. I came to understand that there are many melas, exhibitions organized by the government throughout the year. जैसे अभी भी प्रगति मैदान में महालक्ष्मी सरस मेला चल रहा है, टेक्सटाइल, हैंडलूम, हैंडीक्राफ्ट, ऑर्गेनिक धान्य बाजार. All kinds of exhibitions are organized and supported by government, and where these rural stakeholders come and they showcase their products and they get a good market linkages. So there is a scope of selling, but because of their remote locations, there is a problem in getting market linkages. ये 10 साल पहले की बात बता रही हूँ मैं आपको. So that time, leveraging my IT knowledge, I developed a platform and I wanted some unique name for it so that सुनने वाला भूले नहीं. So I choose the name marketmirchi.com. What I mean by Market Mirchi means market ka desi tadka. So the initiative was appreciated by one and all. Everybody said that it is a good initiative. But you remember the scenario. It was developed in 2012, something like that. And we started announcing. तो हम लोग हर जगह जाते थे and there I used to announce कि such facility है जहाँ पे आपके marketmirchi.com की your products can be showcased and you will get good market linkages. तो आप अपनी information भर के दे दो. तो सारे रूरल स्टॉल होल्डर्स जो एग्जीबिशन में रहते थे फटाफट अपना इंफॉर्मेशन भर के हमारे पास देते थे. एंड बैक होम आवर डेटा एंट्री ऑपरेटर्स यूज्ड टू अपलोड इट ऑन द पोर्टल, बट देयर वाज अ गैप एंड आई वाज नोटिसिंग इट. हुआ and because what was happening is all the rural stakeholders just filling up the form and just भूल गए, हो गई बात खत्म. उनका कोई बाद में इससे कनेक्ट नहीं रहता था. एंड इट मुझे वो बहुत अच्छे से जब महसूस हुआ when there was one inquiry for product listed on marketmirchi.com. The product was from Maruti Herbal, a small nano company in Hosur, and they have advertised for the product for some solution for some oil for the baldness. And there was an inquiry from Germany for this product on marketmirchi.com. So it was like a people live in that small town because they have totally forgotten. But my number was also given, so I intervened and the deal went on. So ये जो gap थी that I was realizing, and the things were also changing on the ground. That is what I am connecting here now. So 2014, 15, 16 aate gaye, and there was a major change. As Chaitanya ji rightly said, we came into the digital era. Digital India हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर का भी एक फोकस प्रोग्राम हुआ था. And now the thing happened like this, that there were internet connectivity in almost all the villages. We all started having internet connectivity, and along with it, this came this smartphone with whom I am interacting with you today, and everybody is having this small tool for, and we know its immense benefits. So yes, smartphone भी आ गया था and internet भी धीरे धीरे spread हो गया था, but मेरे दिमाग में ये घुसा नहीं था. हुआ ऐसे, how it happened, I went to Bhuj at the end of in the December 2016 for conducting a seminar training on marketmirchi.com, and there was a huge agri exhibition organized by our ministry, and there I have to tell about this marketmirchi.com. But what happened, suddenly my laptop stopped working. The guy who was assisting me from ministry side, a young guy, was very smart. He said, "Madam, उसकी क्या जरूरत है? हम अपने लैपटॉप, हम अपने मोबाइल पे दिखाएंगे presentation about marketmirchi.com. Marketmirchi.com will show on our mobile." See, we IT professional होने के बावजूद भी it has not struck my mind. And the girl who was sitting at the reception of the exhibition, वो announce करने वाले रहते हैं ना, she was super smart. She started announcing, म्हारे मोबाइल से म्हारो मार्केटिंग, म्हारे मोबाइल से म्हारो मार्केटिंग, आओ आओ. And that line catch so well that day I have a long queue of farmers. वो भुज है ना, it is a rich area of Gujarat. Long queue of farmers, everybody saying, Madam Ben, tell me, मैं मेरे pomegranate की कैसे ऐड करूँ, मैं इसकी कैसे ऐड करूँ, and they were having so good mobiles, better than me. So that day I named this mission as Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing. And I retired from Ministry of MSME in 2018 December, and now I am working with this organization, that Rajiv Gandhi and DST, and also Ministry of Rural Development as an advisor, consultant, etc. But what is the status of our mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing now? I started with a story. Now I will tell you the facts which are now on the ground. We have Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing now has three major components. One is, of course, our marketmirchi.com. After our experience in Bhuj, we made it as mobile friendly as possible, but we did not go for an app model because I have disseminated this initiative pan India, and I know the problems rural Indians face. We have to teach them how to download app, and then there is a space issue on their mobile, RAM issue. So we have developed it in a progressive web app technology. Of course, it is multilingual, and it is very, very easy to operate. We don't ask for lamba registration from all farmers and rural sellers or even buyers. We directly take them to the task. We have three main sections: sell, buy, and jobs. Sell and buy have 26 major categories, which covers all the agro and rural categories. Here you will find fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, dairy, animal husbandry, बचत गट की महिलाओं के पापड़, मसाले, वो products, handloom, handicraft, and even seeds, biofertilizers, and everything. And in jobs, we have specially jobs for agriculture and rural sector. So, and under these categories, there are many subcategories. Whenever you open marketmirchi.com, you can create its icon on your desktop, a home screen of your mobile. There is a facility given, and you can click on post free sales ad if you are a farmer or a rural entrepreneur. You have to choose a category, click on the category, and just give your ad. Give some select subcategory, give some attractive heading, details about the product, price, and select a unit. At the end, you will be shown two buttons: new user registration and old user login. If you are posting your ad for the first time, click on the new user registration. And here also many things we have simplified. Just give your name, just give your small address, and just give your mobile number and small password. No need of email and everything. Of course, you understand why we have done like this. After that, once you click, after filling all this, when you click on the post ad button, you will be immediately shown on your screen the call list of buyers along with the call buttons. When you click on, and along with their active rank. When you click on their on the call button and on the mobile icon there, from your mobile, you will directly call the buyer. And the same model is there for the, they are shown the call list of sellers. Also, SMS is generated where all sellers get the relevant buyers link and buyers get the relevant sellers link. What is the active rank now? Active rank is one innovative thing we have introduced. It is an absolutely free model without any business thing in the mind. So whosoever posts ad for sale or buy, we show him the opposite people with their contact numbers. So there are many people posting ad, many farmers, many self-help groups. So those who are active on the website, means once you post ad, we show you the call list. The number of buyers, seller contacts, he gets the points, and that is counted as his active rank. And similarly for the buyers. Now, on marketmirchi.com, there are many sellers and many buyers having active rank above 700. And their success stories of few of them are also broadcasted by BBC News. So this is our innovative model in all, and very, very simple to use. Second part of our mission मेरा मोबाइल मेरा मार्केटिंग is backend linkages, जो बहुत difficult है, क्योंकि all of us know that there is a good facility, there is a good website or there is a good app, but for whom we have made it, उनके पास अगर मोबाइल भी है लेकिन they don't know that they can use their mobile and they can do their free marketing. So for this capacity building, for their digital marketing capacity building, we are tied up with many organizations, many NGOs, including Tata Trust, Bayer, then this Bajaj Foundation, and many Grameen Foundation. Even I don't remember the names, and also with the government organizations, because NABARD, NRLM, SRLM have this mandate. They are working for APOs, they are working for SHGs. So they generally organize online and offline trainings. In this sector, online trainings involve no cost. So anybody, even ICR, KVKs are also organizing it. NABARD has started conducted pre-corona and post-corona around 30 in 30 remote villages in Maharashtra. We trained APOs by taking mobile from their hands and showing them how they can post their ads, and immediately showing them these are the buyers, you contact them. So this model was very successful, and NABARD has means even NABARD head office has send a mail to more states to participate in this program. And MKCL has developed one, initially they developed one good video on how to use marketmirchi.com that we will share afterwards. But that video was old one, developed 2 years back. So there was no concept of this active rank. And there was also the success percentage was 60%. Now it is now more than 70%. So with the help of MKCL, the first video was developed. And now we are working with IIT Mumbai Sitara program, Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Area. They are also helping for converting the videos in various regional language. Still now we are not able to get some good party who will do it. And also with this is a second part. And third part is very, very important, which you people must have thought about in mind, is how to get buyers. And it was really difficult task. It was like a chicken egg problem. जब तक sellers नहीं, buyers नहीं, और जब तक buyers नहीं, sellers नहीं. But with the continuous effort I have put on this mission, and with the technical support again from IIT Mumbai Sitara, by leveraging artificial intelligence and some social media leveraging, data mining, etc., we are now able to fetch many buyers on this website. And to tell you, there are more buyers on this website now than the sellers. And we are obviously focusing on B2B market linkages. And I'm happy to share with you that even Big Basket, Reliance Retail, Nimja Cart, Waycool are procuring some of their materials, agro materials, directly from APOs and farmers on marketmirchi.com. So this is in all short story of our mission, Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing via marketmirchi.com. To clarify a few things, it is not funded by anybody. But activity-wise support, just IIT is helping in this technical enhancement, is given by many, including National Bamboo Mission has introduced special category for bamboo, forestry and herbal, and they have sponsored the SMS pack. But basically it is self-funded project. I have developed website myself, so I did not require money for it except my time and skills. And the hosting, initially it was hosted on GoDaddy, and now we have shifted it since last 2-3 years on Amazon Web Services. And for the hosting, I bear around 70,000 per 70, nice, 70,000 per year. Per year it is 6,000 something per month. Amazon Web Services charge me. But this year also IIT it's sponsoring this hosting money also. But otherwise also I'm ready that if nobody will take this responsibility, I can carry on with my savings and all. So this is the story of Mission Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing. And generally ये कहावत है, or it is said that whatever is free, whatever you give free has no value. But with humbly, but with pride, I will share with you that this absolutely free social initiative is generating more than 70% direct market linkages in agro and rural sector, and it is spreading pan India. Even you will find the advertisements from Dimapur, Nagaland to down south, and also from some of the other countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Ukraine, etc. So this is entire story. And if anybody has any questions, I am open for it. And afterwards, I will ask the organizers to share the video.
Sure. Thank you so much, Pragati ji, for a very interesting talk. You did this almost, without presentations, without this thing. So it was very clear that it was coming from a lot of experience of having built it yourself, taken it to the field and seen how to make it work. Because काफी बार ये देखा गया है कि IT systems बनते हैं, websites बनते हैं, लेकिन उसका adoption में जो मेहनत लगती है, जो adoption में है, it is 10 times more than actually building a website.
Exactly.
Maybe even 100 times more at times, because जो ध्यान देना पड़ता है लोगों को उनके यूसेज में, उनको यूसेज को यूजर एक्सपीरियंस देखने के लिए वगैरह. I think it is very admirable that you have put so much time, effort to make it work for this. In fact, actually, most of us in the other MSME space are very familiar with things like IndiaMart.com. अगर आपको कुछ भी चाहिए, आपको IndiaMart.com में से सप्लायर्स मिलते हैं वगैरह वगैरह. I think you have created a wonderful parallel for that, for the rural ecosystem, rural producers, rural consumers, even urban consumers for that matter, and so on. So
yes,
wonderful.
I want to share one thing, that many startups are coming in this agro and rural, so many social entrepreneurs also.
Correct.
All of them are approaching me and saying that, madam, you merged with me, why you are doing it all free?
Yeah.
But it is my commitment to myself that I will have absolutely no business model. And many even individuals are joining this. Retired IS officers and some ICR professors are working as a mentor with Mission Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing.
Sure.
And one more cadre is this agro business students, MBA and all, are doing internship with MarketMirchi.com. So all of this, it is a collective effort.
Absolutely.
So I call it as a movement. It is not a project or nothing else. It is a movement.
Very good. There is a video which Pragati ji has shared with us. Bhakti has put the link to the YouTube video in the chat. Agar towards the end, if we have some time, we will watch that and maybe will give us some more insights. But there are quite a few questions. I would give priority to the questions first, Pragati ji, if you don't mind. There's one gentleman, Sundaramji from Odisha. He has inquired if you're open to partner with them to do some work in Odisha with just as what you have done with MKCL. There's an OKCL as well in Odisha, and he would be interested to know if you can are open to explore working with them also for bringing MarketMirchi in Odisha.
Actually, sir, we have done 5 to 6 programs in Odisha. One is with Achyuta Samant's KIIT. You all must be knowing from Odisha, Achyuta Samant, great personality. And also with the organic, Government of India organic office is there, regional organic office with them. And I think Ranchi is in Jharkhand. So 2-3 programs at least I have done in Odisha, and we are open to work anywhere, anytime, and for all type of partnerships, online, offline, no issue at all, because
Wonderful.
we want to spread. MKCL has developed the videos, and even they were thinking of developing a e-learning course but somehow their Vivek Samanji retired, and so I too could not pursue further.
Okay, okay. I think there is your. This is one the learning part. There are at least 2 3 questions on how are there videos, are there training material that
Yeah,
people can access to down. I mean there is no downloading because this is just a website. This is not a mobile app. But to start using, so if there are, I think, already 2 or 3 people who are interested to see the website and start using it, or at least start typing. Is there any resource for people
yeah,
to
yeah.
learn it themselves?
Yeah. Sir, marketmirchi.com has a help menu where extensive help in Hindi and English is given, and also the link of videos which I have shared with you, or I think the recent video link is shared. And secondly, we have a Market Mirchi YouTube channel, and
Okay.
Market YouTube चैनल में ये सारे वीडियोस उपलब्ध है, स्टेप बाय स्टेप हाउ टू यूज marketmirchi.com ये भी है, and even somebody associated with me as a mentor has taken a effort to develop convert that my video in Hindi to Tamil also. So
Okay,
and
wonderful.
under IIT project we are searching for the resources who will convert how to use Market Mirchi video to other regional languages. Even IIT
Okay.
has put some budget for it also.
We can even talk the Stars Forum has many organizations spread out across the country. I'm sure there'll be somebody here who'd volunteer to translate this into other languages, and we'll put out a call for anybody who would like to support in this activity. There is one question which some people would be interested to know, particularly from an FPO point of view. There's a question Yatish Gupta is asking, Yatish ji is asking, can you please tell us what are the important things we need to focus on during branding of FPO products? Is there any particular guidance you provide on how to brand your products and so on?
Actually, when they post their ads on marketmirchi.com, I tell them, firstly, you should write in the heading directly from FPO. Directly from FPO and name of the product. इनिशियली उन लोगों को पता नहीं रहता था, तो वो हेडिंग में अपनी एफपीओ का लंबा चौड़ा नाम लिखते थे. तो मैं बोली वो सब यू पुट ऑल दिस इन डिटेल्स बट इन हेडिंग, बिकॉज हेडिंग इज डिस्प्लेड इन योर एड व्हेन इट इज पब्लिश्ड ऑन द वेबसाइट. So if the word directly from FPO is itself a catchy word, because now I told you na, that Reliance Retail has told me that they are interested to purchase only from registered FPOs. So FPO, the word has become a brand. Please understand.
Interesting,
Hello?
very interesting.
So if those who are using marketmirchi.com, those FPOs who are going to use marketmirchi.com, simply put in the heading, जैसे कि आप राइस बेच रहे हो, डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम एफपीओ राइस. अगर ऑर्गेनिक है तो ऑर्गेनिक जोड़ दो उसके साथ, और अच्छा मार्केटिंग होगा. ठीक है. और हेडिंग एंड डिटेल्स कैसे लिखना, इसका भी हम व्हेन वी टेक हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग वी बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लोर करते हैं. एंड आई टेल यू that the people have become so smart, my rural people, that एक ने, just take it on a funny है कि एक ने गोबर की एडवर्टाइजमेंट डाल दी थी. want to, and उसने इतनी बड़ी एडवर्टाइजमेंट की, देसी गाय पुट एड फ्रॉम राजस्थान, और उसको बायर्स भी मिल गए थे. So we teach all this, how you should write heading, how you should write, and also there is one model, the price also. When we take training, we tell them that if your price is negotiable, because many a times it depends on so many factors. If somebody is purchasing in the bulk, or somebody is procuring directly from your place, then the price will be different. So you simply put 0 in the price box and your ad will be displayed that the price is negotiable. ऐसा करके वो डिस्प्ले होती है, भाव ताव किया जा सकता है. So that is also we are teaching them. टीचिंग में बहुत बहुत फनी थिंग्स होती रहती
Yeah,
है।
that's true.
और
That's true.
आई एम आल्सो हैप्पी दैट ये डिजिटल एम्पावरमेंट हो रही है। अभी कुछ दिन पहले हिमाचल से एक बंदे ने पूछा था कि दीदी, जैसे आपका वीडियो देख के आई हैव पुट माय एड एंड नो आई वांट टू अटैच फोटोज, देन आई आस्क टोल्ड हिम दैट यू गो टू माय एड्स, गिव योर यूजर नेम पासवर्ड and there is an option for photos, click on it, then he देवताओं का फोटो। मैंने पूछा भैया आप क्या बेचने जा रहे हो? शतावरी। तो फिर देवी देवताओं का और हम आपका फोटो क्यों? So these are the concepts they
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to tell them that you are posting a ad, तो जो प्रोडक्ट है उसकी बढ़िया सी फोटो दे दो। So this is also a digital rural empowerment model.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is true. I mean, a lot of us, have got exposed to digital medium, but have not had the training or understanding of how to use it well. And I think there are a lot of people who are putting on the chat windows. They are very keen to use this platform. They're very keen to bring their communities on this platform, but they're also keen to see how can we empower them also from doing this job well. Because what I also have seen in the past in my own some of the work that I have involved is when the users of such platforms are do not get the fruits of that, then they feel very disappointed. But therefore we also need to focus on seeing how can we give them better training, how can we give them some of the wonderful tips that you have shared today, how can we take those tips to those people.
Yeah, sir,
I'm sure
one thing I just want to interrupt you because my time will be over. The one thing is that कि जब लोग पहले ad post करते थे, and here there is some remarks also कि please talk in Hindi, so I will now continue in Hindi. If anybody has problem, I will repeat in English. तो लोग मेरे को बोलते थे, कोल्हापुर से एक किसान का फोन आया, ताई आपने बोला तो मैंने हल्दी की एड डाल दी। मैं बोली बहुत अच्छा किया भैया। तो बोले 2 दिन हुए लेकिन मेरे को किसी ने कॉल ही नहीं किया। बोले 2 दिन हुए लेकिन जब तूने एड पोस्ट की थी तब हमने स्क्रीन पे तेरे को सारे खरीदारों की लिंक दिखाई थी, SMS भी आई है, व्हाई नॉट यू आर कॉलिंग देम। तो ये जो मॉडल है ये बहुत अच्छे से समझना जरूरी है कि मैंने ऐड दिया, जैसे आपने ऐड दिया ऑल ओवर इंडिया सेलर दे रहे हैं। When we are showing you buyers, you can go ahead. So that is a proactive marketing that you have to learn.
Wonderful. Maybe I think what we should.
That is why we have based the active rank model. एक्टिव रैंक का कंसेप्ट शुरू हो गया कि जो जितना एक्टिव है, जो सेलर जितने ज्यादा बायर्स को कॉल कर रहा है उसका एक्टिव रैंक बढ़ेगा और उसकी विजिबिलिटी मींस रैंकिंग इन द वेबसाइट भी बढ़ेगी. So that is our unique model.
Very true. I think what we should do is, I know we have some limited time now, and there is a lot of interest. Maybe we should have a follow-on session, particularly around one is what is the handholding needed to make this successful for the first-time users. Once this जो कहते हैं ना flywheel effect होता है, you need a lot of energy to push the flywheel to get it into motion. But once the flywheel starts moving, then we don't need a lot of effort. Then so it has that moment of inertia, will keep it moving and only little effort is needed. And I think providing that initial push may be of big help. And I think from a Stars Forum point of view, Pragati ji, we would be more than happy to organize another session, maybe in a few weeks' time, where interested NGOs and other FPOs and other people can come together and we can have a more detailed session about how to make it work for them, how to make it effective for the first-time users, and how to take it forward from there. So, with that, I know there is a lot of questions still. We will collate all this if needed. If there are any questions that are remaining unanswered, we will collate that and we will probably get your answers across to people as well. So thank you once again and all the very best for this initiative. It is heartwarming to see that somebody, one little like a lone warrior, You have brought this to the market 10 years ago, learned from the lessons, and continue to take it forward. So all the best to you. And not only that,
one more innovative thing just I want to share, because I worked in Government of India. I know lot of budget Government of India puts in rural development, but if मेरे जैसे रिटायर्ड लोग अगर सोचते हैं जिनके पास कुछ स्किल्स है, तो as a simple lean model we can bring some change.
Absolutely, no doubt about that.
चेंज मेकर का अवार्ड मिलने जा रहा है, तो आई थिंक दैट इट इज
Congratulations.
and it gives me immense happiness. I am not doing any charity. It gives me immense internal happiness, which is needed at this age and stage also.
Absolutely, absolutely, wonderful, wonderful. So you have not only our best wishes, but our support as well to take this forward.
Okay, thank you, Chaitanya
Thank
ji,
you,
and thank you, Bhakti, for persistence.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your talk today.
Thank you,
please,
thank you, ma'am.
Please be around. I'm sure at the end of Dr. Goel's talk, maybe there are some more things that we can talk together also. So with that, if I may invite Dr.
Sir, excuse me. Sir,
yes,
I will
please.
not be available.
Okay,
should I leave
sure,
because
sure.
I have another meeting?
No problem, no problem. Yes, that's fine. No problem.
If any questions are there, please share my WhatsApp number with others. Or should I tell here now?
We will share it with everyone.
You share my WhatsApp number. If anybody has any questions, we can have one-to-one.
Sure, sure. In fact, actually, why don't you just say it out and I will type it in the chat
and
box. And
my contact number is also given in the marketmirchi.com.
Okay.
And my number is 9822. I repeat.
9822
71
71
96
96
18.
So I have shared that number on the chat box with everyone, so people should be free to talk to you. Thank you once again. We won't hold you now, but we will come back to you.
Sorry, I have another meeting scheduled. So
Bilkul, Karinder. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. With that, I would I invite our second speaker, Dr. O.P. Goel, to come and become part of the Stars Forum, the fourth day of our conference. What Dr. Goel is going to talk about is an extremely important topic about upskilling the Indian population, especially the youth, on a range of technologies as well as trades that are super important for the development of this country, whether it's in the urban context or the rural context. Let me give a very brief introduction of Dr. Goel, and then we can start from there. Dr. Goel is the general manager and head of CSR, as well as the head of the Bosch vocational training initiative in India. Dr. Goel has over 30 years of experience in the automotive space. But more importantly, his passion to make impact in society is what stands out in his work that they've done. And I got his Dr. Goel's recommendation from 2 or 3 different independently, saying that if you want somebody to speak about skilling, please go and talk to Dr. Goel. He's a wonderful resource person and a person with a lot of experience with something to share with all of us. Dr. Goel has been instrumental in raising the standards and visibility of the Bosch Vocational Education Center, called the BVC, and launching various skill development programs for Bosch employees, along with industry institute tie-ups. He is also a core member of the steering committee of the PMKYV, the Kaushal Vikas Yojana program, which is playing such an important role in the skilling initiative of this country. So thank you so much, Dr. Goel, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being with us. With that, if I may ask you to begin your presentation. After that, we will have a Q&A to talk to you about.
Thank you, Chaitanya ji. Good evening to you, to all your colleagues, the organizers, and all the audience who are present there. I think there are about 70 people on the call. It's a real privilege and pleasure to be having this opportunity of talking to the August gathering today. I have divided this brief presentation in 5 sections. I will first start with Bosch, the company. I will then talk about the skilling work, what we do in Bosch India. The third section is a little bit about the new initiatives which we have taken recently, and then some specific work which we are doing in the rural space for skilling and employing the rural youth. And the last part is about the collaboration opportunities for STARS Forum and the kind of organizations. Is the screen visible? I seem to be having some challenge of changing the slide. So are you able?
The screen is visible, sir.
Screen is visible? Okay.
Yeah, and it's changing also.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Yes, now it's working. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chaitanya ji, for confirming. So these are the 5 small sections, and then we can have questions at the end. About this company, very interesting thing about this company is that the founder, Mr. Robert Bosch, who started this company at the age of 25 in a small place called Stuttgart in 1886, himself came from an apprenticeship background. So in Germany, you have 2 systems mainly of skill education. One is the apprenticeship system. The other one, call it a gymnasium, which is people who go for higher education, professional education, university, PhD, etc. But he was someone who came from the apprenticeship system, and his interest was into the precision engineering, and he started this very small company in his garage. Although these days it is fashionable to say that I am starting my company from my garage, but in his case, it literally happened so, which is about 135 years before, when he was 25 years old. Now this company has grown to become the biggest auto component manufacturing company in the world, and perhaps the most innovative company in this space. We employ about 4 lakh people, do business almost everywhere in the world, about 150 countries or more. And the global turnover of the company is about 77 billion euros, which in Indian rupees equivalence is about 6.5 lakh crore rupees. The company's major business is in mobility solutions, the auto components, auto technologies, but there are also other business divisions like consumer goods, industrial technology, energy and building technologies, including having some interest also in solar systems. But the interesting thing about this company is the investment in R&D. The company spent about 8% of its total sale, the total revenue from all the operations world over on research and development, wherein many companies are not able to spend even 8% of their profit. Here we are talking of 8% of total sale. And as a result of that, the company applies for 13 patents every day, which means about 4,500 patents in a year. The another important thing about this company is the founder believed in giving back to the society as a major part of the profit which comes as a result of this business. So he always believed that the society is a very important stakeholder in business, and we run this business not only for the shareholders of the company, but for the society at large. So the company's 92% of the dividends declared from all the companies world over of Bosch Group go to a charitable organization called Robert Bosch Foundation. Mr. Robert Bosch family gets 7% of the dividend, and 1% is used to meet the administrative expenses. Very, very rare to find this kind of a constitution of a such multinational big global company, wherein the commitment from the founder and now from his family is that 92% of the dividends should go for the charity, and it goes completely to the Robert Bosch Foundation, which has its headquarters in Stuttgart, Germany. And the money which goes to the foundation never comes back to business. I'm very fortunate to be heading the operations of the Foundation for India, the organization called Bosch India Foundation here. Coming to the skill development and the work what we do here in India, we have 13 companies of Bosch Group here in India. The biggest one is called as Bosch Limited, which is headquartered in Bangalore. Bosch started its business in India much before independence in 1922. In fact, next year, we are going to celebrate 100 years of Bosch in India. More formally, we started a factory here in Bangalore, where we also have our corporate headquarters now in 1952. So this company manufactures the auto components mainly, and we supply these components to the OEMs, the vehicle manufacturers, right from two-wheeler to three-wheeler to four-wheeler to six-wheeler, whoever is manufacturing in automotive and automobile, typically buy something or the other from Bosch. If nothing else, if it is a petrol vehicle of a small size, at least a spark plug. The company's interest is very deeply into the skilling of youth of the country. And for that, Bosch had started a vocational center in Bangalore in 1961, 60 years before. And the intent was to bring the world famous German VET dual system to India. VET is vocational education and training, which is run in dual mode in Germany. The Germans are very proud of this system. This is a 3 years apprenticeship program, typically after 9 years or 10 years of schooling. And the Germany believes that if they have least percentage of unemployed youth in Europe, the credit goes to this VET dual system. We brought this system to India in 1961 and very successfully being run in this center called Bosch Vocational Center. This center has been declared as the best apprenticeship training establishment by the presidents of India some 54 times out of the 60 years. And also the apprentices who have completed the training from this center, 245 of them have won the gold medals in the competitions organized by the government of India. Typically, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship organizes this competition now. And when this ministry was not there, 2014 before, the Ministry of Labor was organizing this competition. We also had the privilege of hosting the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, along with Dr. Angela Merkel, both of them who visited this vocational center and wanted to discuss how the Indian youth, which we have in very large numbers, as we know, about 1 million youth need jobs every month in our country, and this world famous German VET dual system, which is successfully being practiced here in Bosch and Bangalore, how this can be scaled up, how we can have more centers like this in India or outside India, and how these two countries can benefit from the skilled youth, and possibly we can also supply these skilled youth to the other countries other than these two countries. That was the main reason of these two dignitaries coming to Bosch Center in Bangalore. So apart from this model, which we call it as a long-term career-oriented model, wherein about 5,000 youth have been trained over the 60 years. The number doesn't look to be very impressive because it is a very intense 3 years technical training. But when we talk about the quality of training, there's a large number of apprentices from the center who work abroad. In fact, our biggest alumni association of this center is in Sydney. The second biggest is in Melbourne. So there was a time when the government from Australia wrote to their Bangalore office that whoever comes from a Myco Bosch vocational training center, don't ask them any questions, just give them work permit. And that was a time when large number of these youngsters migrated to Australia, and now there are about more than 600 apprentices in their families who are working there. Of course, we also have these apprentices working, some of them in other countries. Also, of course, in Bosch, there are many who joined Bosch and about 40 years before, 35 years before, 30 years before, and now some of them are retiring from there. Many of them want to bring their own sons and daughters also to this Bosch Vocational Center and get them trained here. There is a second model of skilling which we started about 8.5 years before, sometime in January 2013. This model, we call it as short-term job-oriented program, because this is only for 3 months. On one side, we know that we need highly technically skilled youth, and that is where this 3 years program, the long-term training program, come into the focus. But we also need large number of youth to be trained and employed through a short-term training, and that's where this bridge program comes in, which mainly focuses on soft skill trainings for the youth who are between 18 to 25 years of age. Started with one center, the first batch, in January 2013, and now we have more than 650 bridge centers in the country. We are even expanding these centers further, and soon we are going to have at least one center in every district of the country. About 50,000 youth have been trained over these 8 years and employed. So this is a program which focuses on 100% employment of the youth, just with this 3 months of training, which is mainly around soft skills. We also have now launched a rural version of it. All along, these bridge centers were set up only into the urban areas or maybe at the district headquarter level. But now we are also going down and setting them up into the towns, into the talukas, and our ambition is also to set some of them into the actual rural India. That is where the need is more. And we are tweaking this program a little bit to make it more suitable to the rural youth, because the urban youth, we have been able to train them and employ them mainly based on the soft skills training. But we know that in the rural youth, we also need to include some part of the hard skills there. And that is why a little bit of a tweaking has been done into the program. The third model is the training for artisans. This is a 9 months long training, which we do for carpenters, for plumbers, and also for electricians. There are 3 centers which are run by Bosch directly, one in Bangalore, one in Nashik, and one in Pune. Pune center is for plumbing, Bangalore center is for carpentry, and the center in Nashik is for electricians. But we also have set up 20 smaller centers, we call them as multiplier centers, in different educational institutes. So this is to focus on the training for the artisans. The fourth model, which is not here in this slide, is of training the trainers. We have trained the trainer as a very focused approach, wherein we train the technical trainers through a 1-year program. We also have a 1-week training program on the soft skill for bridge trainers in the country. The Government of India, the NSDC, the National Skills Development Corporation, and the Sectoral Skill Council called MEPSC have approached us, and we have a joint certification with these organizations for training the master trainers in the country. In last 1 year alone, we have trained 1,000 trainers on different skills who are not really working for Bosch. This is a part of our CSR, but these 1,000 trained trainers, Bosch certified trainers, are now available to provide the skill training to the youth in the country in different parts. We'll also talk a little bit about the new skilling initiatives which we have taken in last 2 years. One of them comes out from the new education policy which we have in the country now, which talked about introducing vocational skills in the higher education. All along, as we know, the vocational education in the country was kind of limited at the ITI level. We as a country were not thinking of training the youth in the higher education on specific skills. All along, the focus was on knowledge and not so much on the skills. But we know that unless these youth are skilled, they really do not become employable. So we had invited about 25 vice chancellors of the private universities to Bosch in 2019 to discuss as to how we can introduce vocational skills in the higher education. We had agreed on 5 areas where Bosch can support them. One is the training for their own youth. The other one is for the youth around their university, in the community around there, the youth who couldn't even get a chance to get admission in their university, but they also need skill training. So the universities agreed to do training programs for them also. Training of trainers where the universities can support in a very big way, because that is what they are in fact supposed to be doing. Bosch has the trainer program, but the capacity utilization from the university is something is now helping us in scaling it up. Then the third one is about developing industry-ready CSR professionals. As we know now that in the country there is a law, CSR law, which says that 2% of the profit of all these profit-making corporates who are earning more than 5 crore rupees in a year should spend on CSR, on the social service. And this money is huge. I will talk about it in another slide. But the key point is that we do not really have well-qualified professionals who can manage these CSR departments in these companies. All along, the social work education in the country is focused on preparing these youth for working for the NGOs, where the major focus is on fund generation. But now we are in a situation in the country where in the companies, the money is available, but you need professionals who can manage that money well, who can deal with the NGOs, who can really do the social development work where the funds are available. So we have developed the curriculum for this program in Bosch, and now these 25 universities are implementing that program, and we are further scaling it up also to the colleges. The fourth program is the capacity building of NGOs. We have 2 streams here. One stream is we are doing it through the universities. The other one is we are also doing it through an organization called Vishwa Yuva Kendra, who deals with about thousands of NGOs. And we have run 2 programs with them, one last year and one this year, to build the capacity of the NGOs. Now these universities are adopting that program, and they have agreed to create further multipliers of the NGOs capacity building. In a country where we have 32 lakh NGOs registered, but if a company like, any of this large company who has got reasonably good CSR budget wants to deal with 100 good NGOs, it is very difficult to find who are those 100 good NGOs in the country. And that's why the need for the capacity building, need for transparency, need for hand-holding, need for making them more professionals, etc. is there. And that is where our focus of the NGO capacity building program was. The last is about the training of the MSMEs. We know that the major part of the country's economy comes from the MSME, but many of them do not seem to be having their own training facilities, skill development facilities, but they need the skilling development of their own employees. And this also we are now planning to do it through the universities, and we have trained the university professors on the MSME capacity building program which Bosch has developed, and they are now starting the multipliers. We also have set up 25 collaboration centers in these universities. As you can see the picture on the right hand side, this is how a collaboration center looks like. And this collaboration center is not only to take care of the Bosch CSR interest in that university. The purpose of this collaboration center is to promote all kind of collaboration there in that university with the other corporates there around, with the NGOs, with the MSMEs, with the government, and of course also with Bosch if there are opportunities available. Now we are going further down from these universities to the colleges. 100 colleges have approached us, and they want to replicate this model of collaboration, and they want to also deliver these programs to their students in the colleges, which we have offered to the university people. So we have now created a hub and spoke model, where is an industry academia lead in the university who have been trained by Bosch over last 2 years. We have done a lot of online trainings for them during COVID time. These people will be working as the hub in charges, and the representative from the colleges will be working as the spokes for the smaller centers which they will be running into the colleges. We in fact have received applications from almost about 500 colleges, but with 100 colleges we have already started, and the remaining 400 we are looking at as to how do we build the capacity within Bosch to also address these kind of numbers which are now coming to us. So I spoke about the industry academia collaboration already, but there is also a very other interesting topic on which we have worked over almost about 9 months now, which is skill entrepreneurship. We in the country talk a lot about entrepreneurship. We very specifically looked at the skill entrepreneurship, which means that the youth who can be trained to start their own skilling center, because the country really lacks the capacity of skilling. So we asked these universities to identify the interested youth who are qualified but unemployed. Currently, they are job seekers. We talk to the university people and say, can we make them from job seeker to a job giver at the first instance? That means they set up their own skilling centers and possibly employ 1 or 2 people. But more important than that is they actually train the unemployed youth in their centers, and through that they make these youth employable, and not only make them employable, but we always believe in employment and not in employability, because employability means we just train them and certify them and we send them and tell them, okay, find a job. But the bridge program mainly, and also this our skill entrepreneurship program focuses on actually ensuring that these youth get a job at the end of this course. So 100 such centers have already been started, and now we have more applications coming in from the youth who are now going to be trained, and they are going to start the skill entrepreneurship centers in their own districts or in their own talukas or their own cities where they belong to. So we can also avoid the migration of these youth to the big cities. We also see a possibility of the skill entrepreneurships starting into the rural India. We are in discussion in Bosch as to how can we also customize this program so that more and more rural youth can start their own skilling centers. This is a 4-phase program, as we can see on the right hand side of the screen. First workshop is an introductory workshop where we talk about the skilling opportunities in the country. Then there is a second phase of the program where we give them a deeper understanding of how the skilling system in the country works. Then we send them for a field visit, for a reality check as to who can be their customers, in the sense that whom they are going to train, who will be the youth who will be coming for training to their centers, who will be the employers, what kind of a training will be imparted to them, and where the center they can find, and how much will be the rent, etc., etc. A complete business plan, they go and make it. Then they come back and discuss the challenges with us. And the 4th page is wherein they undergo a train the trainer program. So 100 such youth have started these centers on their own. Coming to other 2 initiatives, one is the training of paramedics, which we started this because of COVID. But even before COVID, we had this in mind that since the population in the country is aging, we have large number of people who are now getting aged, and in many cases we know that their sons, daughters are not staying with them, as was the case perhaps with the previous generation, and they will need some caregivers, some people. While there may be some affordability, they can possibly afford to pay the salary to these caregivers, but since their own family members are not going to be there, they would need some paid resources for that. So we trained 3,000 youth in 120 centers in the country, 3 months training. We tied up with 120 nursing colleges for supporting us to train these 3,000 youth. But the most interesting part of this program was that as a part of training, we also insisted that all these youth should go and visit the old age homes. So 1 old age home per center was attached. And as you can see some pictures on the right hand side, these students visited these old age home, and Bosch designed a specific kit, not only for the center, for the training center, as you can see from the pictures, but also for the old age home, where the kit was in 2 parts. One was for the staff there, the basic equipment which they need, but they typically don't have with them. and there was also some e-tables which were given to these old age people. So this was one initiative which we have recently completed. The other one is about NGOs capacity building, which I already mentioned, with the Vishwa Yuvak Kendra in Delhi being one of our partner. It was a program which was in 5 phases, a 5 modules program of 2 days each, wherein we covered the topics like understanding of CSR rules, reporting and compliance, impact assessment, skill development specifically for the rural area, and collaboration and partnerships. So this program has been attended by 140 NGOs, and almost about 100 of them are now going to become eligible to get some kind of a funding from some of the corporates who are looking for these NGOs for implementation of their program. Coming to very briefly on 2 very specific topics which we have introduced for the rural youth on entrepreneurship. The first one is on automotive. We felt that there are large number of villages which have tractors, stationary engines, other automobiles, two-wheelers, and many of them even have now cars. If we can identify youth in the rural area and who can be trained to do some very basic servicing of these vehicles, not something like an engine overhaul or a big thing, but very, very basic. It could be as simple as replacing an filter, an oil filter or a diesel filter or things like that. They can become the local micro entrepreneurs. So this program is now being run at 6 centers by us. 3 of these centers are preparing them to become the entrepreneur. That means they will be starting their own ventures. And the other 3 centers are preparing them for wage employment with the other organization which are already into this kind of a business. Then there is also a similar other program of 3 months which we have started on micro entrepreneurship on Ayurveda. In the rural India, we know that Ayurveda, if it can be talked about a little bit more, it can not only solve the problem of which the country has a huge problem of the healthcare, as we know, and these English medicines are not really able to meet the expectations. So we said Ayurveda is something which some of the companies are doing a good job. So can we not upskill these people to become the entrepreneurs in this area? And this is also being run in 6 centers. Very soon, these youth, about 100 of them, will start their own venture under Ayurveda as a micro entrepreneur. The other focus areas of skill development, which we have not done much work on yet, but we intend to do, are the education is one sector in the rural area where we'll feel if we can train people, then not only they can earn their own livelihood, but they can also help this rural India a large way. That's on teachers. In fact, we started the training of teachers for rural India. About 200 such teachers were trained by us. They may not get a government job, they may not get a very high paying job in a fancy private school, but they can still help these rural young children who otherwise have no chance to go for education. And we know there are a large number of children who are out of education in the country. We also need a lot of career counselors in the rural India, and that's where we also see a scope of training some counselors who can then help these youth of the rural India to be counseled on. Healthcare, I already talked about Ayurveda and these geriatric caregiver. This kind of program should also be scaled up. There is a huge scope for that. Manufacturing, while we have not done much of the work for the MSMEs, but we know more than 50% of the MSMEs are there in the rural India. And we should also look at how the youth can be trained on the manufacturing skills. Something what we have been doing in this Bosch Vocational Center for the last 60 years. Since it's a long-term program of 3 years, it really doesn't matter whether the youth comes to us from an urban area or from a rural area. Because they are there for 3 years, they have a chance to learn everything. They can learn everything of the technology, they can learn English, they can learn all the soft skills, they can learn everything else they are going to need. So in the manufacturing sector also, we need to enhance the skilling. And the last, the more learning from the work from home environment because of COVID, that when we talk about new technologies, all along we were only thinking about the urban youth that they can be trained on. But now, since many of the people have in fact gone back to their rural places and they are operating from there, so this also gives us an idea as to why the rural youth cannot be trained on even topics like artificial intelligence, since many of them work on a remote basis now. So we strongly believe that each school or an educational institute in the rural India must have a skill development center. While it is mandatory to have teachers for the subjects, it is mandatory to have, let's say, a headmaster or a headmistress. But I think it is very important to also ensure that at least there is one skill trainer there in each educational institute, and there is a small skilling center where the employability skills can be imparted to the youth. The other one is on the soft skill. This is a very highly ignored area in the rural India. Many of the youth of the urban India, we are able to make them employable purely based on the soft skills. We know that they are so-called street smart. With very little training, they become suitable to work for the service industry. Rural youth, we see that as a challenge. So we have to also focus on the soft skills for the rural youth. And the involvement of academia. When we talk to these 25 university vice chancellors and their staff, plus also those 100 colleges, their principals and their teachers, many of them want to work in the rural area selflessly. They say that you give us a chance, give us a program, give us a reason, give us a purpose. We will go and work there. Not only the faculty, but our students also want to go and work there. I think we need to do a connect there, wherein these academic institutions from the district level or even from the metros can be connected to rural India who can go and work there. Very briefly, coming to the collaboration and partnership opportunities. The slide talks about the CSR budget in the country, which has now gone to about 22,000 crore rupees in 1 year. So all along, the dependence was on either the money coming from the government or from some of the philanthropists. Now, by design, Government of India has made this much money available at the hands of the corporates. So 22,000 crore rupees being available every year to be spent on CSR. A major part of that ideally should go to skill development. At one time, Government of India, in fact, wanted to mandate that about 25 to 30% of this money should be used on skill development, and large part of that on the rural India. I think there are opportunities available. We perhaps need a different forum to discuss about this and create some opportunities. So the role of an organizations like STARS Forum, we see is one side there is industry which has CSR budget, the other side there is government which makes policy, and there are these smaller NGOs called civil society organizations or whatever we call them as, and then there is academia. So a collaboration between these four stakeholders, if that can be propagated by the organizations like STARS Forum and alike, the big picture can be 1 million youth training we need every, if we do every month. In fact, 1 million youth to be trained in the country are every month. Even if we take this as a 1 year target for us, which means about 8% of the total country's requirement, the money required is about 1,000 crore. 1,000 crore is the budget of just top 100 companies, the 10% of that. That means the top 100 companies CSR budget is in fact 10,000 crore. And of 10% of that is 1,000 crore. So the numbers look very promising, but someone has to work for these numbers, create these collaborations, talk about the partnerships. And a company like Bosch, and we know that there are many other companies like Bosch who believed into it very strongly, who can facilitate, who can support, who can possibly lead some of these initiatives. So I will stop here and maybe open for the questions. So back to you, Chaitanya ji.
Dr. Goyal, many thanks for an extremely not just insightful but a very absorbing view of how Bosch has been working in this space. And what I think really stands out is one is just your core focus area, which is automotive, creating technical talent and so on, but the energy and effort that you have put into do ecosystem wide building as well, and ecosystem empowerment in many ways. That is something that is extremely praiseworthy. Also, how you have been thinking about creating multiplier effects. How obviously in a country that is so diverse, that is so huge, there are so many dimensions on which we have to think about. The way to scale is through creating multiplier effects, and I think we have seen some of the things that we spoke about. I think even Pragati ji's this thing has that opportunity to become a multiplier of sorts, and I think kudos to you and your team for having taken such a holistic approach to corporate engagement with civil society and with development. Quite a few questions. We probably don't have, I don't know whether we have enough time for everything, but we'll try and cover as many as we can. There's one question about, I think there's one question which came about the point that you talked about, which is the NGOs, capacity building of NGOs. But I feel that that question has already been addressed in your subsequent slide, where you talked about the 5 key points that you cover in that. Akshita, I hope your question is answered with that. Otherwise, we can subsequently try and get more information for you on that. Yogesh is inquiring about any possible plans for collaborating with NGOs on rural skills development. I think there was something that you did speak about. Maybe if you want to elaborate a little bit.
Yes, चैतन्य जी, अगर आपने देखा है जो 5 एरियाज में हमने 5 डिफरेंट वर्कशॉप की थी ये 140 एनजीओज के साथ, उसमें एक वर्कशॉप जो चौथे नंबर की वर्कशॉप थी वो स्पेसिफिकली स्किल डेवलपमेंट पे थी।
राइट।
तो उसके बाद अभी जो 140 जो एनजीओज ने वो ट्रेनिंग अटेंड की थी, उसमें से बहुत सारे अभी वो विश्व युवक केंद्र के थ्रू हमको अप्रोच कर रहे हैं और वो अपने स्किल सेंटर चालू करना चाहते हैं। और हमारा इंटरेस्ट उसमें यही है कि देखिए सिटी में तो हमने काफी सारे स्किल सेंटर बना दिए हैं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे तो हमारे ब्रिज सेंटर ऑलरेडी चल रहे हैं, लेकिन हम चाहते हैं कि वो रूरल एरिया में ये एनजीओ चलाएं उसको स्किल सेंटर, है ना। तो उसमें बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस आ रही हैं और आज भी जो लोग सुन रहे हैं अगर उनमें से कुछ लोग इंटरेस्टेड हों रूरल एरिया में स्किल सेंटर चलाने के लिए, सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द फोकस एरिया ऑफ बॉश, दे कैन रीच आउट टू अवर टीम। हमारी टीम के भी कई सारे लोग इस कॉल पे हैं और मेरे कॉन्टेक्ट्स तो आपके पास हैं, सो वी विल बी हैप्पी टू सपोर्ट सम ऑफ द एनजीओज who actually want to start skill training centers in the rural area. मैंने अपनी स्लाइड में भी कहा है कि हम तो चाहते हैं कि हर एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट जो किसी भी गांव में हो, छोटे सिटी में हो, तालुक लेवल पे हो, उसके अंदर एक स्किल सेंटर होना ही चाहिए। और न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी भी अब इस चीज की बात करती है, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी भी अब यही कहती है कि एजुकेशन को आप स्किल से बिल्कुल अलग मत रखिए। और बड़ी अच्छी बात अभी जो भारत सरकार ने की है वो ये है कि स्किल के लिए और एजुकेशन के लिए अब मिनिस्टर एक कॉमन है, शायद पहली बार हुआ है ऐसा देश में, और इंटेंशन यही है कि आप इन दो चीजों को अलग अलग नहीं चला सकते। जर्मनी का एग्जांपल हमारे पास सामने है, अगर आप एजुकेशन को स्किल के साथ जोड़ेंगे, वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग के साथ जोड़ेंगे तो सक्सेस ज्यादा मिलेगी, क्योंकि इन एनी केस 92% of the youth are going to go for a vocation at the end of it, and only 7-8% of them are going to go for that higher education, professional education, engineer, MBA वगैरह वाले लोग 7-8% ही हैं। तो वो 92% लोग जो है ना, उनको वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग आप सिर्फ ITI लेवल पे दे नहीं सकते। ITI में इंडिया में सिर्फ 6-7% लोग जाते हैं, 92% लोगों को कहीं ना कहीं वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत है, और वो हायर एजुकेशन में अगर हम इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। इसलिए हम कहते हैं कि जितनी भी एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स गांव में भी हैं, रूरल इंडिया में भी हैं, वहां पे भी स्किल सेंटर खुलने चाहिए, और वो स्किल को वहां पे छोटे बच्चों को एक हॉबी के तौर पे तो चलो ठीक है, वो उसकी तो बात हम करते हैं काफी, लेकिन वो हॉबी के बाद उसको एम्प्लॉयबल स्किल और वो करियर से जोड़ के वो स्किल की बात की जानी चाहिए, तभी जाके कुछ वहां पे जो है ना रूरल इंडिया का कुछ ज्यादा।
बिल्कुल एब्सोल्युटली, एंड आई थिंक दैट इज फैबुलस सिंपली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस थिंग कि एक तो हमारे मोस्ट ऑफ आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हु आर पार्ट ऑफ स्टार्स फोरम एंड ऑल दैट आर वेरी फर्म बिलीवर्स ऑफ लर्निंग बाय डूइंग मेथोडोलॉजी, and vocational training is the heart of vocational training is learning by doing, and I think therefore this message will resonate strongly. मुझे खुशी है कि आपने ये ऑफर दिया है लोगों को to inquire and find out. I think it will be fabulous if some of our partners are able to set up skill training centers in rural villages and so on. And I think given how some particular trades have become so important, mobile repairing, laptop repairing, automobile repairing, because now these things are there everywhere. And similarly, as the country develops, as rural areas develop, as infrastructure becomes makes it possible for goods to move around, some of these skills are going to become extremely essential. I mean, and some of the things that you spoke about, even the rural skilling programs for creating in the automotive sector, I think those are really very good, good kind of things. So I'm sure there will be people reaching out to you all. I'll just read out a few more questions to see if how we can address that. There's Sweksha Gupta is asking, what if someone with skills is not finding a job? How would you get people to agree to get skills for them? What are the other challenges you face in getting people to getting them employed?
Yes, very interesting, चैतन्य जी. और आपने क्या नाम बताया जिन्होंने सवाल पूछा?
स्वेक्षा गुप्ता.
स्वेक्षा जी, मुझे ये कहते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि आज ये जो ब्रिज प्रोग्राम जो बॉस चला रहा है पिछले 8 साल से, ये हमने 27 जनवरी 2013 को जो है ना पहला बैच चालू किया था 19 बच्चों के साथ, और अब हम 50,000 बच्चों को ट्रेनिंग दे चुके हैं. ये 100% जॉब इंश्योर करता है. मैं 99% नहीं कह रहा हूँ. आज हमारे पास ऐसी स्थिति है कि जॉब्स ज्यादा हैं, एम्प्लॉयर्स हमको रोज अप्रोच कर रहे हैं, और उतने स्टूडेंट हमारे सेंटर्स में नहीं है. ये देखिए बहुत बड़ी स्टेटमेंट मैं कह रहा हूँ, ये मतलब इतना आसान नहीं है इसको कहना, लेकिन ये मैं अपने पिछले 8.5 साल के एक्सपीरियंस पे बोल रहा हूँ. तो अगर किसी ने प्रॉपर स्किल ट्रेनिंग ली है तो आज की तारीख में जॉब्स बहुत हैं. आप ऐसा मत समझिए कि जॉब स्किल प्रॉपर होने के बाद जॉब नहीं मिलेगी. इसमें एक चीज मैं और जोड़ना चाहता हूँ यहाँ पे, जो मैंने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में नहीं बोली थी. जब हमने 2013 में ये ब्रिज प्रोग्राम चालू किया था, हमारा पूरा का पूरा फोकस एम्प्लॉयबल स्किल्स पे था. लगभग 4 साल काम करने के बाद हमें ये यकीन हो गया कि एम्प्लॉयबल स्किल तो जो है ना मोर और लेस हमने क्रैक कर दिया है. जो 11वीं 12वीं वाले जो बच्चे फेल या पास हो जाते हैं, ज्यादा हमारा फोकस उन पे था जो फेल हो जाते थे, उनको भी हम जॉब दिलवा सकते हैं, वो हमें यकीन हो गया था. लेकिन हमको सेंटर से ये फीडबैक मिलने लगी कि जी प्रॉब्लम अब स्किल की नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम एटीट्यूड की है. तो बहुत सारे यूथ जो है ना उनको हम स्किल तो कर देते हैं, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी वो काम नहीं करते, या मतलब उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस लाइफ में बहुत अलग टाइप की रहती हैं. तो फिर हमने एक दूसरा मॉड्यूल बनाया है जिसको हम नेशन बिल्डिंग एटीट्यूड्स एंड बिहेवियर्स की बात करते हैं.
वंडरफुल.
जो मॉड्यूल है जो अभी ब्रिज के लिए हमने कंपलसरी कर दिया है, और अब हम हायर एजुकेशन में भी वाइस चांसलर्स के साथ बात कर रहे हैं जिसको इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए. उसके अंदर हम ऐसे एटीट्यूड्स और बिहेवियर्स की बात करते हैं, जैसे एथिक्स, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, respect for law, respect for somebody's time and your own time, attitude of gratitude. ये वाली चीजें बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी हैं एम्प्लॉयबल स्किल्स के अलावा. जी बिल्कुल. उसका एक मॉड्यूल है चैतन्य जी, मैं आपके भी जो ऑफिस के लोग हैं उनके साथ हम शेयर करेंगे वो उसके जो कंटेंट वगैरह हैं. एंड दिस इज अवेलेबल फॉर फ्री फॉर ऑल दिस कॉलेजेस जहाँ पे हम वो इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. तो जो भी लोग आज सुन रहे हैं, अगर उनमें से कोई इसको इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहे, उसमें हमने जो ये 1000 लोगों को, 1000 ट्रेनर्स को जो ट्रेनिंग दी है पिछले 1 साल में, उसमें से उनको भी इस मॉड्यूल के ऊपर ट्रेनिंग दी है, और उनको बोला है कि पहले आपको ये प्रैक्टिस करना है, उसके बाद आपको आगे सिखाना है किसी को. बिल्कुल. इट इज नॉट दैट कि खाली आप पढ़ा देंगे किसी को. आप जैसा बिहेव करेंगे वैसा ही वो आपके सीखने वाले जो बच्चे हैं वो बिहेव करेंगे. तो आपको इसका प्रैक्टिस करना है. So it is, one is about employable skill and also it is about the attitudes and behaviors. दोनों का combination ही काम करेगा. One thing in isolation doesn't work, unfortunately.
Frequently cited problem. On the one hand, we are talking about millions of youth who don't have jobs, and on the other hand, we have employers who are saying we don't get qualified people, or if we get qualified people, they don't have the attitude. So I think this approach is really good. And most importantly, the trainer has to become a role model.
Yes.
Has to become a role model is so important. Otherwise, this education will not seep into the youth and so on. So wonderful. Yeah, there is another question which is on the Ayurvedic part. Is the question from Narendra is that are these trainers certified to work in communities? What kind of certification is there in this Ayurvedic ट्रेनिंग एंड प्रोफेशन?
मैंने 2 चीजों की बात की है उस प्रेजेंटेशन में चैतन्य जी. एक तो मैंने बात की है आयुर्वेदा का माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कोर्स. वो वाले में तो ट्रेनर की ट्रेनिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं हम. वहां पे तो हम उनको एंटरप्रेन्योर बना रहे हैं. जो ओवर द काउंटर जो प्रोडक्ट होते हैं उनको वो लोग अपने गाँव में ले जाएं. तो उनके तो ट्रेनर जो हैं वो तो एक्सपर्ट ट्रेनर जो ये कंपनियां हैं जो आयुर्वेदा के बिजनेस में हैं, चाहे वो हिमालय हो, डाबर हो, पतंजलि हो, वहां से हम ट्रेनर्स लेते हैं और वो इन माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को ट्रेन करते हैं. दूसरी जो मैंने बात की थी वो पैरामेडिक्स ट्रेनिंग की, जो केयर गिवर की हमने 3000 बच्चों की जो ट्रेनिंग की है, उनका जो सर्टिफिकेट है वो हम जो गवर्नमेंट ने एक हेल्थ केयर की सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल बनाई हुई है, तो वहां से उनका सर्टिफिकेशन करवाते हैं. और वही सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल अंडर एनएसडीसी है. दे आर ऑथराइज्ड टू सर्टिफाई दीज हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स. ये 2 अलग अलग टॉपिक हैं. तो दोनों को हम अलग अलग तरीके से ही एड्रेस कर रहे हैं.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know we are almost running out of time, but I think there is one or two questions I may want to talk, and then there may be others too that we want to this thing. There is one gentleman, I can't see your name because your name is appearing as Galaxy A70s, but that person appears to have logged in from the Northeast region, and he's saying we have not come across in Northeast having NGOs or implementing Bosch initiatives on skill development. Are there any such plans, or are there any possibilities to have partnership with Bosch in the northeastern regions?
देखिए, जहाँ तक मैं समझता हूँ, ये जो एनजीओज का मोबिलाइजेशन विश्व युवक केंद्र ने किया था
जी,
वो जो 140 एनजीओ की जो ट्रेनिंग की थी
जी,
हमने उनको बोला था कि हर स्टेट से आप एनजीओज लीजिए.
ओके,
हो सकता है छोटे वाले स्टेट से कम लें और बड़े वाले स्टेट से थोड़ा उन्होंने ज्यादा लिया हो.
ओके,
तो अभी मेरे पास नंबर्स तो नहीं है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट की कुछ एनजीओ में इन्वॉल्व
Got
थी या
it.
नहीं थी, लेकिन क्योंकि अब वो प्रोग्राम हमारे पास रेडी है और ट्राइड एंड टेस्टेड है, तो अगर इस प्रकार का प्रोग्राम रिपीट भी करना पड़े नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लिए या जो ना जम्मू कश्मीर एरिया के लिए या जहां से भी
true.
उसने ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेट नहीं किया होगा, वी आर ओपन टू लुकिंग एट दैट. So I will request them either to contact my office or to contact the Vishwa Yuva Kendra,
Okay,
who in fact work in collaboration with us on this.
okay. I think, is it Yurihor Khaling that is asking this question? From Manipur, I think. Okay, we'll know. I think if he's, yeah, there it is. Yes, he's, now we know. So Yurihor, I think you got your answer. But anyway, I think it'll be great if we can use this forum to take such programs to regions where it's not as penetrated as some other places. So thank you for your offer to work with this also. I think we're just about crossing the time of our for today, so I won't hold everyone back yet. I know there is a lot of interest, Dr. Goel, from a lot, and there are a lot of interesting questions that probably, and there are some questions whose answers cannot be done in 1 or 2 minutes. So I would, and there's some very interesting questions, such as, for example, what kind of hand holding is needed in the once the person is on the job. It's obviously something that is not just a straightforward thing. It requires a lot of time. There is Owen who's asking about the 70-20-10 model of education system also. So, but these are all big questions, and I think we'll be able to we'll try and take these offline if we have to. But on behalf of STARS and all the people who have attended today, a big round of applause to both Pragati Gokhale, who's not here, and to you, Dr. Goel, for sharing your experiences with us, for offering wholeheartedly to how others on this platform can join hands with you and take this mission forward. All of us are interested in only one thing, which is that the country develops, the people develop, that every individual is able to meet his or her innate potentials also. And I hope that through these collaborations we may be able to move the mission forward together. So thank you once again on behalf of STARS to all those people who have come today. Thank you for taking your time to be part of us. We will keep this conversation going. Tomorrow is the last day of this annual conference. Tomorrow we have two very interesting speakers. One is Dr. Robert Hall. He also goes by nickname Doc, who's a retired professor, emeritus professor from Indiana University on operations management, and he's going to talk about an aspect about how we need to, as an entire, what shall I say, how we as the world needs to think differently about sustainability, about the way forward. What are some of the fundamental changes we need to do to make this world a much more livable place for everyone? And we also have Roberto Catalano, who is going to be speaking about a very important thing that has held this world together in this last 1.5 years, where the world was being split about how everybody was putting boundaries. We were stopping people from flying and all that. Vaccines were being channeled in one place and so on. But the one thing that he believes has been very important, something that we need to keep investing in, is fraternity, and how that fraternity has worked. So we have two speakers tomorrow who will bring this conference to a close, requesting all to be there tomorrow at 6 p.m. and interacting with the two speakers also. So thanks once again, Dr. Goyal, for being with us and accepting our invitation to speak, and have a good evening to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Chaitanya ji, all the organizers, all the audience. It was a real pleasure and a privilege being and talking to you today, and look forward to some another opportunity later. And more important than talking, perhaps working with someone.
Absolutely. Bilkul. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.